video, we'll be talking about diastolic murmurs at apex. So what are the different diastolic murmur we can hear at apex? As we know commonly, the most common thing we remember is mitral stenosis. Mitral stenosis. So we all know that there is the characteristic murmur of mitral stenosis is a soft, low pitched, mid diastolic, rumbling murmur. So S1, S2. So in mitral stenosis, we will hear an opening snap, that is the opening of the mitral valve, and there will be a mid diastolic murmur, rumbling murmur with pre-systolic accentuation. This is the murmur of mitral stenosis. So one of the differential diagnosis first of mid diastolic murmur at apex is mitral stenosis. Second mid diastolic murmur at apex is known as Carey-Coombs murmur. Carey-Coombs murmur. What is this Carey-Coombs murmur? It is again coming from the mitral valve, which is inflamed. Inflamed mitral valve because of acute inflammation, which is seen in acute rheumatic fever. So in acute rheumatic fever, because of inflammation of the mitral valve, as we know, any structure which is inflamed becomes swollen. So this swollen mitral valve, which is swollen, which is causing a diastolic murmur, mid diastolic murmur. So the second differential diagnosis of a mid diastolic murmur at apex is Carey-Coombs murmur of acute mitral valvulitis, which is seen in acute rheumatic fever. Third possibility of a mid diastolic murmur at apex is known as Austin-Flint's murmur. Austin-Flint's murmur, which is seen in aortic regurgitation. Aortic regurgitation. Now, what is happening in aortic regurgitation is, because of AR, I am drawing, this is engineering drawing. So, just for the convenience, there is regurgitation of blood during diastole into the left ventricle in AR, and simultaneously during diastole, from the left atrium, the blood is also entering into the left ventricle. So the mitral valve is fluttering between these two forces or these two jets of blood. One, the regurgitant jet from the AR dashing up, striking the mitral valve. At the same time, left atrium is also trying to push the blood into the left ventricle through the mitral valve. So the mitral leaflets are fluttering, especially the intermitral leaflet is fluttering between these two jets of blood, creating a mid diastolic murmur at apex in AR, which is known as Austin-Flint's murmur. How to differentiate it from MS? First, heart sound is not loud, and you won't hear an opening snap in AR. So this is the third situation where we get a mid diastolic murmur at apex. The fourth situation where we can get a mid diastolic murmur at apex is an left atrial myxoma. So what is happening here? In the left atrium, there is a tumor. There is a tumor, and this is the mitral valve. So when the blood is trying to enter from the left atrium into the left ventricle through the mitral valve, this tumor is obstructing here. So it's a functional MS-like picture, functional mitral stenosis. This LA myxoma is causing problem here. What are the associated features? There are constitutional symptoms. The most important thing about this murmur is it is positional. By change in position, murmur may change. Intermittent, episodic, you can hear the murmur when the position is changed. Secondly, there are constitutional symptoms like fever, arthralgia are associated feature, and platypnea. Platypnea can be a complaint in LA myxoma, and these are the associated feature. Fever, arthralgias can be associated. So this is the another condition where you get a mid-diastolic murmur at apex. So LA myxoma. Another condition where you can get mid-diastolic murmur at apex is a ball valve thrombus in LA. What is a ball valve thrombus? It is a freely floatable thrombus. There is a thrombus in the LA which is freely floating inside the LA. It is a free floating thrombus. So there are situations where this thrombus is coming and lodging itself on the mitral valve, creating the same problem during diastole. You are hearing a murmur. You can get a mid or late diastolic murmur at apex due to a free floating LA thrombus. So another cause is ball valve thrombus. Next condition is a core triatrium. This is a congenital anomaly, can be seen sometimes in adult, rarely, and they present in later life. What is happening is here the left atrium, it can happen in any of the atrium. We are talking of the left atrium. There is a septation present in the left atrium. This is a diaphragm-like structure. This is LA, this is the mitral valve. And here the LA is again segmented by a diaphragm-like structure with a slit or a fenestration, creating problem from the blood which is accumulating from the pulmonary veins in the first chamber, then through the pulmonary vein from the first chamber in the LA coming to the second LA chamber, then through the mitral valve. So this is sometimes known as core triatrium sinistrum. Sinistrum, where the membrane is present inside the LA. It is called dextrum when it is present in the RA. We are not concerned with the RA, we are concerned with LA, mid-diastolic murmur here. So there is a triatrium, 1, 2, 3, and the left atrium is divided into 2. Here there is a functional MS-like picture again during diastole. So core triatrium. Another interesting murmur, mid-diastolic murmur at apex, is known as Reitant's murmur. This is a mid-diastolic to late diastolic murmur which is seen in complete heart block. What is happening in heart block? You know, there is a AV dissociation. AV dissociation due to complete heart block. So there is no relationship, there is no electrical relationship existing between the LV and LA. So there are certain times due to AV dissociation, the left atrium is contracting and the mitral valve is still closing or in a state of closure or already is closed. So this LA is contracting and pushing, trying to push the blood to the left ventricle where the mitral valve is just closing. So again there is a mid-diastolic murmur because of AV dissociation in complete heart block. This murmur can be an episodic murmur. This is known as Reitant's murmur, which is a mid-diastolic murmur due to complete heart block. Next you can have a murmur, mid-diastolic murmur, again functional, in mitral regurgitation. In mitral regurgitation, regurgitant jet of blood entered into the LA. So there is a volume overload of the LA, and this volume overloaded LA, when it is again decompensating itself by contracting during systole, when the ventricle is diastole, all these blood are again coming through the mitral valve, which is not stenosed, but yes, because of volume overload, more amount of blood passing through the mitral valve is creating a functional MS-like picture. So in pure MR, you can hear a mid-diastolic murmur at apex, which is functional because of volume overloaded LA contributing all the blood during the diastole through the mitral valve into the LV. Another cause of mid-diastolic murmur at apex you can hear in left to right shunts. Again the same phenomena here in left to right shunts. Anywhere the shunt is existing, or VSD or ASD or a PDA, ultimately what is happening is the left ventricular blood is again entering the right ventricle, so the right ventricular volume overload or these left to right shunts are ultimately causing volume overload of the left side, and those all volume overloaded left atrium is contributing to the left ventricle. There is a flow of blood, more amount of blood through the mitral valve into the left ventricle. So all left to right shunts can cause mid-diastolic murmur like ASD, VSD, PDA. They can cause functional mid-diastolic murmur at apex. So to summarize, what are the differential diagnosis of mid-diastolic murmur at apex? One is mitral stenosis. Second, mitral valvulitis. That is the Carey-Coombs murmur. Carey-Coombs murmur of acute rheumatic fever. Third, Austin-Flint murmur of aortic regurgitation. Fourth can be a left atrial myxoma. 5 can be a ball valve thrombus. 6 can be cor triatrium. Seventh can be Waytand's murmur of complete heart block. 8th can be left to right shunts. Pure mitral regurgitation can cause mid-diastolic murmur.